The twilight deepens over FluffTown, painting its gentle structures in hues of muted lavender. A soft, pervasive hum usually vibrates through the air, a lullaby of quiet contentment. Tonight, however, the streetlights along Blossom Lane begin a hesitant, rhythmic stutter. Their warm, golden glow flickers erratically, like nervous eyelids struggling to stay open. Each lamp blinks out of sync, casting fleeting shadows that dance with unsettling urgency. A few pedestrians pause mid-stride, their expressions momentarily etched with faint confusion. Yet, as if by invisible command, they quickly resume their paths. Eyes fixed straight ahead, it seems an unspoken rule dictates that one must not acknowledge the town's growing unease. The pervasive silence feels heavy, amplifying the intermittent, broken rhythm of the lights. This street, usually a haven of soft illumination, now pulses with a subtle, electric dread. The air itself feels unusually thin, like breath held too long, anticipating an unknown release. A cold current traces the spines of those who linger, a silent question hanging in the gloom. The rhythmic faltering suggests a secret language whispered by the town's very infrastructure. This unsettling ballet of light and shadow continues, unnoticed by most, yet deeply felt. The streetlights become fractured beacons, each blink a tiny, desperate plea unheard. Deep within the FluffTown municipal building, the mayor's office gleams with forced cheer. Mayor Honeydew, impeccably dressed, smiles too broadly, his eyes holding a practiced calm. He dismisses the reports of flickering lights as just a simple power issue, a minor glitch. His voice, smooth as polished glass, seeks to soothe, yet a tremor of urgency betrays him. The Luma, pox, tick, moss, and stitchlisons, their faces reflecting various degrees of skepticism. Luma, with her keen ear for patterns, senses something deeper within the erratic electrical pulses. She closes her eyes, visualizing the chaotic blinks, detecting an underlying, almost musical cadence. It's not simply random failure. There's an unnatural intention woven into the faulty circuit. Pox, ever observant of the physical world, studies the holographic map displaying the outage zones. He noses the Phelan lamps align precisely with older, forgotten stone seams beneath the asphalt. These ancient fault lines, long paved over, now seem to resonate with the grid's distress. Tick, focused on data, begins compiling reports, his brow furrowed in quiet concentration. Moss, the empath, feels a subtle shift in the mayor's forced demeanor, a shadow of hidden concern. He senses the unspoken weight of the mayor's carefully constructed indifference, a fragile facade. Stitch, pragmatic and direct, sharpens a multi-tool, ready for immediate, tangible repairs. The mayor's cheerful dismissal rings hollow against the growing chorus of flickering streetlights outside. A silent agreement passes between the crew members. This mission feels far from routine maintenance. They gather their specialized equipment, each movement precise, imbued with a sense of quiet purpose. Luma adjusts her diagnostic goggles, her gaze already piercing beyond the visible spectrum of light. Pox checks his geological scanner, its soft hum a counterpoint to the town's artificial serenity. Tick calibrates his temporal chronometer, preparing to measure the very pulse of the malfunctioning grid. Moss clutches a small, smooth stone, a grounding talisman against the town's subtle anxieties. Stitch tests the tensile strength of his insulated gloves, ready for any unexpected electrical surge. The mayor waves them off with another too bright smile, urging them to restore the status quo. His words echo in the sterile office, a stark contrast to the living, breathing city awaiting them. The crew departs, the rhythmic blinks of the streetlights beckoning them towards an unfolding mystery. They step into the cool night air, where the stuttering lamps cast long, wavering shadows before them. Each flicker feels like a question, an urgent whisper carried on the almost still breeze. The true nature of FluffTown's infrastructure seems to stir, remembering something long suppressed. They arrive at the first affected junction, the air thick with the scent of ozone and damp stone. The crew begins their initial repair attempt, confident in their tools and trained expertise. Stitch expertly removes the cover of a junction box, revealing a nest of intricate, colorful wires. Luma connects her voltage regulator, attempting to stabilize the chaotic power fluctuations. New fuses, gleaming and pristine, are carefully inserted into their designated slots. A soft click confirms their placement, a momentary promise of restored order and calm. Yet, almost instantly, a faint sizzle emanates from the box, quickly intensifying to a sharp crackle. The pristine fuses glow with an angry, internal heat, then burn out in a dramatic defianto. Buddha! Tiny wisps of acrid smoke curl upwards, carrying the scent of failure and stubborn resistance. The streetlights respond with a renewed frenzy, their blinking becoming even more frantic, more urgent. As if that grid itself actively rejects the crew, as attempts to impose normalcy upon it. A chill wind sweeps through the street, rustling the leaves of the perfectly manicured hedges. The town's serene facade seems to ripple, revealing a deeper, more volatile undercurrent. Tick, always methodical, begins timing the intervals between the flashes of failing light. His chronometer clicks softly, measuring the erratic dance of power and darkness with precision. He observes the patterns, noting repeated sequences, subtle pauses, and bursts of rapid fire blinks. A sudden realization dawns upon him. This is not random electrical failure. It is structured. The flickering isn't chaos. It's a deliberate, if distorted, form of communication. A distinct language. Tick's eyes widen slightly behind his glasses, a quiet gasp escaping his usually composed lips. He glances at Luma, a silent message passing between them, acknowledging the profound discovery. Moss, meanwhile, observes a few lingering residents, their faces placid, almost unnervingly serene. He senses a powerful, suppressed current of quiet panic rippling just beneath their calm exteriors. Their eyes, though unseeing, betray a deep-seated anxiety that their smiles cannot quite conceal. The town's collective unconscious seems to be screaming, while its conscious self remains blissfully unaware. It's a profound disconnect, a willful ignorance enforced by an unseen, pervasive influence. The smooth, unblemished surfaces of FluffTown hide a growing, internal tremor of distress. The streetlights pulse with renewed intensity, their coded message becoming undeniably clearer now. Stitch retrieves the charred fuses, examining their failure with a puzzled, almost frustrated expression. These were standard components, designed for FluffTown's grid, yet they yielded without warning. Luma adjusts her diagnostic tools, recalibrating for a system that actively fights against repair. She runs her fingers over the cool metal casing of the junction box, sensing its strange resistance. The air crackles with an unusual energy, a sensation both electrical and deeply organic. Pax scans the surrounding pavement, seeking any further anomalies in the ancient stone seams. He detects faint vibrations, a low thrumming beneath the ground, mirroring the light's frantic rhythm. The infrastructure seems to be speaking from its very foundations, an urgent, unsettling dialogue. The crew exchanges worried glances, acknowledging the mission's unexpected, profound shift in scope. This isn't just a power outage. It's a desperate cry from the town itself. A silent scream. The blinking lights accelerate, a frantic plea for recognition, for someone to truly listen. Each flicker paints a fleeting image of distress onto the smooth, unblemished walls of the buildings. The perfect order of FluffTown feels like a thin veneer, cracking under an unseen pressure. The fuses burn with a defiant spark, a tiny, rebellious act against imposed silence. Moss feels the town's hidden fear, a cold knot tightening in his chest, despite the mild air. The residents walk past, their smiles fixed, their eyes glazed, oblivious to the unfolding drama. This enforced tranquility feels more unsettling than any open chaos, a mask over true pain. Luma's fingers hover over her console, recognizing the need for a different approach entirely. The grid resists conventional fixes, demanding a deeper understanding of its strange, new voice. Tick confirms his findings. The patterns are too complex, too deliberate, for mere malfunction. He inputs the sequences into his portable decoder, hoping to translate the town's urgent message. The air itself seems to hum with expectation, waiting for the truth to be finally revealed. The streetlights pulse bright, dark, bright, a desperate, silent plea echoing in the night. Luma leans closer, her diagnostic screen now displaying the raw, uninterpreted light pulses. She begins mapping the rhythmic blinks into letters, a daunting task of deciphering silent cries. Each long flash becomes a dash, each quick flicker a dot, forming a nascent, fragmented script. Stitch, ever the skeptic, watches over her shoulder, a wry smirk playing on his lips. He scoffs softly, suggesting it's merely wishful thinking, a pattern imposed on random noise. Morse code from a streetlight, he mutters, shaking his head with an air of disbelief. Yet, as Luma painstakingly translates, a single, undeniable letter appears on her screen. Then another, and another, slowly forming words, undeniable and stark, against the digital display. Stitch's smirk falters, replaced by a look of dawning comprehension. Then, genuine alarm. The message begins to repeat itself. A broken, urgent plea. Wake it spells out. The final dash of the E lingers, then abruptly cuts out, plunging the immediate area into darkness. A collective gasp escapes the crew, their breath catching in the sudden, profound silence. The absence of light feels heavier, more menacing than the erratic flickering had been. For a moment, only the soft whir of Luma's equipment breaks the oppressive stillness of the street. The message, though incomplete, carries a chilling weight, a stark warning from the town itself. Moss shivers, feeling the echoes of the word WAKE resonate deep within his empathic core. He senses a vast, slumbering consciousness beginning to stir, disturbed by their presence. The crew feels watched, not by overt eyes, but by the very systems of FluffTown, by its foundations. It's a pervasive, almost organic surveillance, sensing their intrusion into its manufactured peace. The air grows heavy with this unseen scrutiny, a subtle pressure on their skin, their thoughts. This town, designed for comfort, now feels like a living entity, observing their every move. Pox runs his hand over a nearby lamppost, feeling a faint tremor, a pulse beneath the metal. Tick reviews the timing data, confirming the precise, deliberate nature of the coded message. Every blink, every pause, was calculated, designed to convey a truth the town desperately hid. Luma stares at the incomplete word, her mind racing, grappling with the implications of this discovery. Who or what was FluffTown trying to warn? And why, through such a desperate, fractured language? The sense of urgency intensifies, pushing them forward, deeper into the town's veiled secrets. They know they cannot simply restore power. They must preserve this fragile, vital communication. The silence that follows the message feels pregnant with unspoken fears, unrevealed truths. The crew huddles together, a small island of awareness in a sea of manufactured oblivion. Their tools, once symbols of repair, now feel like instruments of archaeological excavation. They are digging into the town's very memory, uncovering layers of suppressed information. The streetlights remain dark, a gaping maw in the otherwise gently lit FluffTown landscape. This deliberate blackout feels like a punctuation mark, emphasizing the gravity of the warning. Stitch, now fully invested, scans the area, seeking the source of this peculiar, intelligent malfunction. His eyes narrow, searching for anything out of place, any anomaly in the town's perfect design. Pox points towards an old, faded mural depicting smiling FluffTown residents and blooming flowers. Look, he murmurs, indicating a subtle seam in the plaster, almost imperceptible to the casual eye. Behind the mural, partially obscured by creeping vines, they find an unregistered control box. It's camouflaged with deceptive artifice, blending seamlessly into the cheerful, painted scene. This hidden junction box hums faintly, a discordant note in FluffTown's otherwise placid symphony. Stitch carefully pries open the metal casing, revealing a tangle of unfamiliar, organic-looking wires. These aren't standard FluffTown components. They pulse with an unsettling, dark energy. The wiring is intricately braided with strange, dark fibers, resembling strands, of course, living hair. They glisten with a viscous sheen, almost like sap, yet profoundly unlike any known plant matter. Luma touches a fiber with a gloved finger, feeling a subtle, unsettling vibration beneath her touch. It feels strangely warm, almost alive, a stark contrast to the cold, inert metal of the box. Mal senses a profound sadness emanating from the dark fibers, a quiet despair woven into their core. This material feels ancient, burdened with memory, a silent witness to forgotten truths. Pax shines his tactical light, illuminating a small, almost invisible seal stamped on the box's interior. The word foundation is etched into the wax, precisely, ominously, with stark, unyielding clarity. It's the same symbol they've seen on forgotten blueprints, always at the deepest, most hidden levels. Pax reaches out, his gloved finger brushing against the aged, brittle wax of the seal flakes instantly under his touch, crumbling into fine, dark dust, clinging to his glove. A faint, almost imperceptible sigh seems to emanate from the open box, a release of ancient pressure. The dark fibers within appear to twitch, subtly, as if awakened by the seal's destruction. The air around them grows colder, thick with the scent of old earth and something metallic. Luma's diagnostic tools register a sudden, minute surge of energy from the newly exposed wiring. This isn't just a junction box. It feels like a nerve cluster, a vital, hidden organ of the town. Tick meticulously photographs the crumbling seal and the strange, braided fibers, documenting everything. He murmurs about proprietary materials, recognizing the deliberate obfuscation of its true nature. Stitch carefully, extracts a single, hair-like fiber, placing it into a sterile sample container. He notes its unusual resilience, its almost fluid resistance to his cutting tool. Moss feels a surge of overwhelming sorrow from the newly exposed system, a profound, quiet grief. The town's infrastructure seems to weep, its silent tears manifesting as this dark, living sap. The implication weighs heavily upon them. The foundation is not merely a name, but a presence. It is a deliberate, controlling force, weaving itself into the very fabric of life. The hidden box pulsates with a low, insistento serum, a heartbeat beneath the town's peaceful exterior. They realize this isn't simply a repair job. It's an excavation of FluffTown's deepest, darkest secrets. The forgotten mural, with its painted smiles, now feels like a deliberate act of concealment. The innocent artifice hid a truth that the Foundation actively sought to suppress and erase. Luma's eyes scan the complex wiring, seeking the core connection to the Streetlights' coded message. She traces the dark fibers, noticing how they intertwine with the conventional power lines. It's a parasitic relationship. The organic drawing power, or perhaps memory, from the electrical flow. Pax examines the structural integrity of the box, noting its unusual, non-standard construction. It feels ancient, yet perfectly integrated, a deliberate part of the town's original, hidden design. Tick records the precise coordinates, marking this unregistered box as a critical point of interest. This discovery shifts their understanding of FluffTown, revealing a darker, more complex reality. The town's superficial charm now feels like a carefully constructed illusion, a beautiful cage. Moss touches the wall near the box, feeling the faint, residual panic of those who build it. He senses the fear of discovery, the desperate need to keep this secret buried deep within. The air grows colder still, an icy breath emanating from the exposed, living infrastructure. Stitch prepares his tools for the delicate work ahead. His movements precise, his resolve firm. They must proceed with extreme caution, aware that they are tampering with something profound. The blinking lights of the street, though distant, seem to intensify their urgent call. The message wake echoes in their minds, a stark reminder of the town's silent plea. They understand that simply restoring power might inadvertently erase this crucial warning. The true purpose of the flickering lights now becomes chillingly clear. Not malfunction, but intention. This hidden box is the heart of the message. The nexus where the town attempts to speak. Luma prepares to stabilize the voltage, knowing this action carries a significant, unforeseen risk. She adjusts her settings, aiming to restore functionality without silencing the desperate communication. The dark fibers within the box seem to throb, almost imperceptibly, with a quiet, organic life. The air tingles with anticipation, a sense of an impending, critical choice hanging over them. They are on the precipice of fixing the problem, yet that fix might be a greater betrayal. The town's hidden consciousness holds its breath, waiting for their next crucial intervention. The silent plea from the streetlights grows louder, a desperate whisper from the very stones. Luma takes a deep breath, preparing to enact the repair that could silence the town forever. Luma activates the voltage stabilizer, sending a smooth, consistent current through the grid. Immediately, the frantic blinking of the distant streetlights falters, then slowly begins to cease. The chaotic dance of light and shadow gives way to a steady, unwavering glow across the town brightens. It's familiar, gentle illumination, returning with an almost startling sound. But as the light stabilizes, the coded message, the urgent wake, begins to fade entirely. The distinct rhythm of communication dies, replaced by the silent, sterile hum of restored power. A sense of profound loss washes over the crew, a cold realization of their unintended consequence. The brightness feels wrong, too smooth, too perfect, like a mask pulled tightly over a screaming face. Moss whispers, his voice barely audible above the hum. The light isn't healing, it's hiding. He feels the town's quiet panic recede, replaced by a dull, pervasive acceptance, a forced calm. The dark fibers in the junction box, once subtly throbbing, now lie still, inert and lifeless. They have silenced the town's desperate cry, trading truth for manufactured tranquility once more. Stitch frowns, his technical success overshadowed by the unsettling silence that now pervades. Puck scans the surrounding area, noting the immediate, placid relief on the faces of passing residents. Their collective sigh of contentment feels unsettling, built on a foundation of blissful ignorance. Luma stares at her diagnostic screen, which now displays a flat line, devoid of any patterns. The town's voice, the voice of its suffering, has been effectively muted, erased by their fix. Tick feels a pang of regret, knowing the critical message was lost in their pursuit of order. The pristine functionality of the grid feels like a betrayal, a victory for the Foundation. The streetlights gleam with an oppressive brilliance, erasing all shadows, all hints of hidden truth. This perfect light feels like a blindfold, a deliberate act of sedation for the entire town. They stand amidst the restored glow, their hearts heavy with the knowledge of what they've done. The price of normalcy, it seems, is the deliberate suppression of FluffTown's awakening consciousness. A profound silence now reigns, broken only by the gentle, humming illusion of peace. The crew faces a critical choice: maintain the stable power or find a way to preserve the warning. Luma, her resolve hardening, declares they cannot let the town's voice be silenced permanently. We need a dual circuit, she states, her voice firm. Stable power, but a hidden message loop. They devise a complex bypass, rerouting a fraction of the power through the original, corrupted lines. This hidden loop will allow the town's message to persist, undetected by the Foundation's oversight. Stitch, with his meticulous skill, begins the delicate work of splicing the new clandestine circuit though. He works quickly, his movements precise, weaving the hidden loop into the existing, restored grid. Puck stands guard, his senses heightened, watching for any sign of external monitoring or interference. He scans the rooftops, the alleyways, searching for any subtle indication of the Foundation's watchful eye. Meanwhile, Tick sets up a portable data recorder designed to capture and store the Morse patterns. He plants a small, unobtrusive timer, ensuring the message loop is continually recorded before erasure. This device will act as a memory, a digital archive of FluffTown's unspoken truths, its silent pleas. Moss places a hand on the junction box, feeling the faint, renewed pulse of the hidden message loop. A flicker of hope sparks within him, a sense that the town's spirit has not been entirely extinguished. Stitch, as he works, subtly pockets a fragment of the dark, braided fiber from the original wiring. He intends to analyze it later to understand the true nature of the Foundation's insidious control. The small, organic strand feels unnervingly warm in his palm, a living piece of suppressed history. Luma carefully calibrates the hidden circuit, ensuring its undetectable operation within the grid. The task is fraught with risks, a delicate balance between restoration and covert rebellion. They work in a synchronized ballet, each member contributing their unique expertise to the clandestine effort. The streetlights continue their steady, bright glow, unaware of the secret struggle unfolding beneath them. This dual approach ensures FluffTown remains outwardly tranquil, while its inner voice persists. They are building a sanctuary for the truth, a hidden channel for the town's suppressed memories. The air hums with renewed purpose, a quiet determination, replacing the earlier despair. They finish their work, sealing the junction box, leaving no trace of their subversive modifications. The mural, with its cheerful facade, now hides not only a box, but a secret conduit of truth. The crew retreats, leaving the street bathed in the deceptive, smooth brilliance of FluffTown's lamps. They have bought the town time, a chance for its message to be heard, to be finally understood. The weight of their secret hangs heavy, yet also empowering, a shared burden of awakening. The deceptive calm returns, but now a flicker of resistance burns beneath the surface. The street returns to its programmed normal. People exhale, relieved, without truly knowing why. A collective, unconscious sigh sweeps through the populace, a release of tension they never acknowledged. The mayor appears, his smile even wider, his voice booming with exaggerated gratitude for their quick fix. He thanks them publicly. Too fast, too loud, his eyes darting nervously, betraying his unease. His words are hollow, a performance for the town, a reaffirmation of manufactured serenity. The crew nods politely, their expressions carefully neutral, concealing their profound secret. Luma's recorder, tucked securely in her pocket, still ticks softly, capturing the hidden message. It's a rhythmic, almost imperceptible sound, like a steady, defiant heartbeat against the silence. The town believes it is safe, its minor glitch resolved, its comfortable illusion restored. Yet, beneath the polished surface, the hidden message loop pulses, a whisper of impending change. Moss feels the underlying current of anxiety, now muted, but still present. A low thrum. The residents stroll by, their smiles fixed, their eyes reflecting the bright, deceptive streetlights. Their oblivion feels profound, a carefully cultivated state of peaceful, unquestioning acceptance. The crew exchanges a glance, a silent acknowledgement of the battle yet to be fully fought. They have planted a seed of truth, a small rebellion against the Foundation's pervasive control. The streetlights shine with an unwavering intensity, their outward perfection a stark contrast to the truth. The air itself seems to hold a suppressed tension, a quiet anticipation of future revelations. FluffTown sleeps, dreaming pleasant, manufactured dreams, while its heart begins to secretly beat again. The crew walks away, leaving the town in its artificial glow, carrying the weight of its secrets. Their mission shifts from repair to liberation, from fixing glitches to uncovering truth. Suddenly, the streetlights blinked once more, in perfect, undeniable clarity, just for the crew. This final, precise sequence of blinks is not for the town, but a direct address to them. The message spells a name none of them consciously recall, yet it resonates deeply within. A collective shiver runs through the crew. Every member flinches. A primal, ancient recognition. The name is Tiamat, whispered by the blinking lights. A forgotten echo from deep time. In a nearby lamp's glass reflection, a momentary, indistinct face appears, watching them back. It's a fleeting, shadowy visage, not quite human. A silent observer within the light. The reflection vanishes as quickly as it appeared, leaving only their own startled faces. The streetlights return to their steady, unwavering glow, as if nothing profound had just occurred. Yet, the name Tiamat hangs in the cool night air, a forgotten word now sharply remembered. The crew stands frozen, the implications of the name and the watching face sinking in slowly. They realize FluffTown's infrastructure is not just remembering, but actively warning them. This is more than a power issue. It's a message from an ancient, slumbering entity. The Foundation's control runs deeper than they imagined, connected to something truly primordial. Their world, once so safe and predictable, now feels vast, ancient, and profoundly dangerous. The quiet hum of FluffTown now carries a terrifying new resonance, a silent, monstrous breath. They look at each other, their faces pale, the shared knowledge, a heavy, unsettling burden. The name Tiamat echoes in their minds, a key to a door they never knew existed. The town's gentle facade shatters, revealing glimpses of a dark fantasy Kayumarachi Bader. Their journey into FluffTown's secrets has just begun, leading them to a forgotten titan. The streetlights shimmer, holding the silent promise of a world far grander, far more terrifying. The hidden foundation and its ancient appetite stirs, acknowledging their dangerous awakening. They stand on the precipice of a revelation, a name whispered by the light, calling them to destiny.